The AI tycoon woke up expecting his usual apology breakfast, but found only blood drops leading to an empty garage. His wife of 8 years had vanished without a word, leaving behind her wedding ring and a crimson stain on their marble floor. What he didn't know was that the woman he'd terrorized for years had been planning the perfect revenge, and she was already 3 moves ahead. Have you ever wondered what happens when the hunter becomes the hunted? Have you ever felt trapped in a situation where someone held all the power over you? Have you watched someone get away with terrible things because they had money and influence? This is the story of a man who thought his wealth made him untouchable, and a woman who proved him devastatingly wrong. But which one of them will survive what's coming next? Hit that subscribe button because this revenge story will leave you questioning everything you think you know about justice. Where are you watching from, and what time is it there? She poured his coffee in a kitchen that cost more than most folks' houses, hiding fresh bruises under long sleeves from that high-end boutique he dragged her to last weekend. The Silicon Valley mansion sparkled like something out of Architectural Digest. Glass walls, sleek chrome counters, and marble floors that bounced back every fake smile she threw at him. Zara Blackwell glided through her morning drill like a pro, steam curling up from Tyrone's fancy Ethiopian roast, while she mentally mapped the escape routes. 42 steps to the panic room from the island. She'd clocked it yesterday after he yanked her hair for screwing up his dry cleaning order. "Your coffee, honey." The words stuck in her throat like bad medicine, but she laced them with sugar anyway. Tyrone didn't glance up from his iPad, already buried in the government AI deal that was going to make or break his quarter. His jaw tightened as he scrolled, and Zara's gut twisted on instinct. She knew that look all too well. Somebody was about to catch hell, and she was the only punching bag in sight. "The Pentagon contract's hitting snags," he grumbled, knuckles whitening around his phone. "Months of schmoozing down the toilet because some ethics committee got cold feet." Zara kept her face blank, but her brain raced. The NeuralForge deal was his baby, an AI system for surveillance that promised billions. Losing it meant ego bruises for him and real ones for her. She edged toward the sink, but his hand snapped out like a viper, clamping her wrist in that casual vice grip that made her bones ache. "Where are you headed, babe?" His voice dripped that fake calm that always signaled a storm. "I didn't say you could bounce yet. I figured you wanted space for your calls. I want you right where I planted you." His thumb dug into the sore spot from 3 nights back, when he'd corrected her for talking too long on the phone with her mom. "You get that, right, sweetheart?" The nickname hit like a slap. She nodded, her throat closing up. His other hand skimmed the collar of her cashmere sweater, fingers brushing the concealer, masking the finger marks on her neck. "That's what I dig about you, Zara. You catch on quick. No lip, no waterworks, just straight-up obedience." He tugged her onto his lap, the move making her skin crawl, but she fought back. That'd crank it up to 11, and 11 meant ER trips she couldn't spin as clumsy accidents anymore. "Kiss me like you mean it," he ordered, phone still glued to his palm while his free hand steered her hips. She leaned in, channeling every bit of rage into a fake passion play. He dove in with that greedy ownership vibe, all take and no give, like she was just another asset in his portfolio. When he finally let her go, her lips throbbed, and her spirit shrank a little more. "See? That's better." He dove back into his screen like it was nothing. "Board meeting in 15. Get my black Tom Ford ready, and call the driver." "Sure thing." She backed off slowly, not turning till she hit the doorway. "Oh, and Zara," his voice froze her solid. "Scrap that lunch with your cousin today. I need you on deck if this Pentagon mess blows up." Her stomach dropped. She hadn't seen Aisha in a month, and those catch-ups were her lifeline. But pushing back, that had cost her big. "I'll text her now." "Good girl." As Tyrone's Porsche purred out of the driveway, Zara held her breath till it faded. Then she bolted to the master closet, shoving aside rows of designer dresses he picked out to make her look like his trophy. Behind the shoe wall, tucked in a hidden panel he never spotted, sat her secret stash. A burner phone, flash drives crammed with footage, and a snapshot that could flip everything. She fished out the photo. Tyrone with bloody knuckles, her crumpled on the tiles behind him. He'd strutted like a champ that night, so cocky he even mugged for the security cam like it was his damn trophy case. Little did he know she'd rigged extra cameras all over the crib, catching every smack, every threat, every time he crossed that line, thinking no one was watching. Today she'd beam this pic to somebody who could weaponize it, somebody waiting for proof that Tyrone Blackwell wasn't the inspirational black tech mogul the world hyped him up to be. Her fingers shook as she punched the text on the burner. 3 words to kick off the endgame. It's time, Lena. The mansion's silence pressed in, broken only by the hum of the smart fridge he'd installed to track her every move. Zara pocketed the phone, her reflection in the full-length mirror showing a woman who'd played the part too long. 8 years of this hell, smiling through the pain to survive. But not anymore. The NeuralForge empire might be his playground, but she'd been building her own underground network. Women like her, swapping tips on safe houses and lawyers via encrypted apps, with Lena pulling strings from her New York law firm. Tyrone thought he owned her, body and soul, but Zara had been stacking evidence, like bricks in a wall, waiting for the day it had come crashing down on him. She straightened her sweater, hiding the fresh marks, and headed back to the kitchen. The coffee mug sat cold on the counter, a reminder of the routine she was about to shatter. For the first time in years, a real spark flickered in her chest. Not fear, but fire. He stormed through the front door at 11:52 p.m. like a freight train in a tailored suit, carrying a grudge worth hundreds of millions. The Pentagon AI deal hadn't just tanked. It got nuked by his own ethics board. Guys he'd handpicked, who suddenly grew a backbone when the heat came on. Zara heard his Porsche screech into the driveway, her body locking up like it knew the drill. She'd spent the evening holed up in the home office, scouring divorce lawyers and safe spots on her burner phone. But none of that prep could shield her from the incoming hurricane. Zara! His bellow shattered the mansion's quiet like a dropped glass. She stepped to the top of the staircase, hands steady despite the quake in her ribs. I'm right here. Get your ass down here now. Each step felt like walking the plank. Tyrone paced the foyer like a cornered bull, his perfect fade messed up, his billion-dollar swagger cracked wide open. You know what your husband does for a living, babe? His tone was chit-chat level, which made it scarier than a yell. I build futures. I turn code into empires and empires into legacy. Zara stayed mum. Talking back was like poking a bear with a stick. Hundreds of millions flushed because some pencil pushers freaked over privacy concerns and ethical red flags. He barked a laugh that chilled her blood. Ethics don't sign checks. Ethics don't revolutionize surveillance. Ethics are for suckers without the balls to change the game. He stalked toward her with that smooth predator prowl. But you wouldn't get that, would you? You've never hustled for anything, never built squat. You're just arm candy. The slap landed out of nowhere, whipping her head sideways, filling her mouth with that metallic tang. Pain was old news, her daily grind, but the ice settling in her veins, that was new. Not terror, but stone-cold resolve. I've handed you the world, he circled her, sniffing for weakness like a shark. This crib, those threads, a life most sisters would kill for. And what do I get? A wife who jumps when I touch her, acting like my love's some kind of assault. The next hit cracked her ribs, folding her like a lawn chair. Stand up straight when I'm schooling you. She straightened, spots dancing in her vision, and spotted him yanking out his phone. Her heart slammed to a halt. You know what? Time for a reminder of how good you got it. His thumbs flew across the screen like second nature. I'm gonna hit up your precious cousin Aisha and spill what kind of ungrateful mess her kin turned into. Maybe drop some pics of your attitude adjustments. Please. The word slipped out before she could clamp it down. Oh, now you want to chat? He grabbed her jaw, forcing her eyes to his. Too damn late, sweetheart. You had 8 years to show some gratitude, 8 years to appreciate the empire I built us. Instead, you've been moping around like a victim in a soap opera. He shoved her back onto the cold marble, her skull thunking against the stone with a crack that echoed like thunder. Stars burst behind her lids as he dropped to his knees beside her. Here's the play, he hissed, breath hot on her ear. You're gonna learn your place starting tonight. His hands tore at her clothes with brutal efficiency. This wasn't about heat. It was about breaking her down, reclaiming control after his boardroom flop. Zara fought to stay sharp, her mind screaming while her body went numb. This shattered the last shred of hope that their vows meant jack. Marriage. Nah, this was ownership wrapped in a ring. When he finished, he loomed over her wrecked form, smug as hell, like he'd just closed a killer deal. Clean up, he snapped, fixing his shirt. And tomorrow, smile at breakfast like this never went down. 'Cause if you don't, if you even think about running your mouth, I'll torch everyone you love. Aisha's boutique in Brooklyn? Gone. Your mom's health coverage in Chicago? Canceled. That scholarship fund you sneak cash to? Wiped. He headed for the stairs, then paused. Oh, and Zara, next time I roll in with bad news, greet me like you give a damn instead of that victim vibe you've nailed. Marriage is teamwork, after all. Alone on the freezing floor, Zara felt the world fading, but her fingers found the tiny recorder she'd stashed in her bra that afternoon. The gadget that nabbed every word, every threat, every bit of his reign of terror over her life. As the edges blurred, Zara whispered 2 words into the hidden mic, words that would bury Tyrone Blackwell for good. It's time! She dragged herself up, every inch screaming, and stumbled to the bedroom. The burner phone waited in its hidey hole. Fingers slick with blood, she attached the files, 8 years of hell digitized, videos of slaps in the kitchen, threats over dinner, financial docs proving he used NeuralForge cash to track her every move and cut her off from the world. She hit send to Lena's encrypted drop, the message simple, all yours, make him pay. Then grabbing a duffel with essentials she'd packed weeks ago, she slipped out to the garage, firing up her BMW, the one he let her drive but monitored like a hawk. The drive to the airport blurred in a haze of pain and purpose. By dawn, she was in New York, checking into a dingy hotel under a fake name Lena had set up. The pills and booze waited on the nightstand, her escape hatch from the nightmare. She popped them, washing down with cheap whiskey, the burn matching the fire in her gut. As the room spun, Zara clutched the burner one last time, whispering to the void, John, Jen, Luke. Darkness swallowed her, but not before a final thought. Freedom at last, even if it cost everything. He snapped awake at 6:20 a.m. No coffee smell hitting his nose like usual. The mansion felt off, not chill, but empty, like a fancy tomb with the lid cracked open. Zara! His shout bounced off the high ceilings. No echo back from the kitchen, no clatter of pans or that forced good morning she always dished out. Just dead air that made a baller like him remember what sweat felt like. The master bedroom looked untouched from last night. King bed rumpled on his side, hers smooth as glass. The walk-in closet showed gaps in her racks, like she'd yanked stuff in a hurry, jewelry case missing chunks. The wedding band sat on the nightstand like a middle finger. Panic clawed up his spine as he bolted downstairs. Her Beamer was ghosted from the garage. Her phone, the one he pinged through his apps, lay smashed on the counter like roadkill. But the blood? That froze him. Dark spots trailed from the foyer where he'd left her wrecked, snaking through the kitchen to the garage door. Not a pool, but enough to say she'd dragged herself out after he crashed. Tyrone yanked his phone, thumbing through the tracking app. Signal dead. What the hell? He dialed her number, straight to voicemail, that perky recording mocking him. This had to be a stunt, right? Zara is pulling some drama to make him chase her tail, but deep down that knot in his gut said otherwise. He punched in Lena's digits, Zara's cousin in New York, the one she yapped about but he never met. Ring ring. Lena Morrison, where's Zara? No hello, no bullshit. Excuse me? Who's this? Don't play dumb. It's Tyrone, her husband. She's dipped, car's gone, everything. You two are thick as thieves, so spill. She calls, Holsu? A beat of silence stretched from Silicon Valley to NYC, loaded like a cocked gun. Tyrone, it's barely dawn here. What do you maybe end by gone? You guys fight or something? Her tone threw him. Confused for real or Oscar-level acting. Either way, it didn't sit right. She'll crawl back, he muttered, more to pump himself up than her. She always does. What did you do, Tyrone? The question landed like a gut punch. I'm her man. I don't gotta do jack. That's not an answer. He hung up, heart jackhammering, and spent the next 3 hours blowing up every hotel in a 50-mile radius. No Zara Blackwell, no card swipes, no trace of a woman who'd been locked in his world for 8 years. By 10 a.m., panic boiled over to rage. How dare she bail? After everything he'd hooked her up with, the crib, the lifestyle, the status. He hit up his assistant. Cancel my morning huddles. Run a trace on Zara's cards and accounts. Boss, you okay? Just do it, Kayla, and pull the house cams from the last 24. But when Kayla buzzed back an hour later, her voice wobbled like bad news on steroids. Mr. Blackwell, the cards are dead. Mrs. Blackwell nuked her accounts yesterday afternoon. And sir, someone hit your private server last night, downloaded files from your locked folder. The phone slipped from his grip, clattering on the marble. She hadn't just split. She grabbed ammo. The mansion turned into a ghost house as Tyrone prowled room to room, hunting clues on how his lockdown wife pulled this vanishing act. In the office financial papers he didn't remember leaving out. In the bedroom, his safe cracked, key docs MIA. By evening it clicked. Zara hadn't bolted in a huff. She'd executed a full op after stacking dirt for years. His hands shook while pouring a stiff bourbon. Outside, valley sunrise painted the glass walls gold, but all he saw were shadows mimicking her bruises. The first anonymous email pinged at 3 a.m. Video clip he thought was buried. Message attached. Day 1 of your wake-up call. But wait, nah, that's jumping ahead. Right now, as the bourbon burned down, his banking app lit up with alerts. Transfers firing off to offshore shells, hundreds of grand vanishing like smoke. No way, he growled, slamming the glass. Who the hell had access? Zara, or some hacker she'd looped in? The knot tightened. This wasn't random. This was calculated, like she'd been 3 steps ahead while he played king. He dialed his banker, voice cracking. Freeze everything. Someone's bleeding me dry. But the damage was rolling. Accounts draining through ghost companies in the Caymans. Untraceable as hell. Tyrone slumped against the counter, staring at the blood trail dried to rust. For the first time, doubt crept in. What if she wasn't coming back? What if this were war? The empty garage mocked him, her spot echoing like a grave. He grabbed the smashed phone, piecing shards like a puzzle. But it was junk. Rage bubbled up, but underneath, fear. Real, gut-twisting fear that his empire's queen had just flipped the board. His empire, built on code and control, crumbled as invisible hands yanked the strings he never knew existed. Tyrone stared at his monitor as his net worth tanked in real time, numbers flashing red like emergency lights on a sinking yacht. Silicon Valley's black tech icon watched his glass office walls reflect a fractured man, while reporters swarmed outside like buzzards. Mr. Blackwell, Kayla's voice cracked over the intercom. The board's demanding an emergency Zoom. Now. 3 days since Zara ghosted, and his world shook like a quake hitting the fault line. Someone had been siphoning his accounts systematically, funneling cash to phantom cores that evaporated when his accountants poked. But the dough was just the appetizer. Boss, there's worse. Kayla burst into his office, tablet clutched like a shield, eyes wide with horror. Every board member got an email this morning. Videos. I can't stick around. She slapped her resignation on his desk and backed out like he was radioactive. Kayla, hold up. He lunged toward her, desperation making his voice pitch high like a punk. Whatever you saw, I can spin it. Don't. Her tone sliced deep, pure disgust. Just don't. The door slammed, leaving Tyrone solo with his collapsing kingdom. He pulled up the email that nuked 8 years of his polished rep in one blast. Crystal clear footage, him clocking Zara across the kitchen island, audio nailing his threats to wreck her fam. Timestamp after timestamp, mapping an abuse roadmap through their marriage. Bottom line, a dude who beats his wife doesn't deserve to run a company preaching ethical AI. His phone exploded. Bored cats, investors, partners, all howling for answers he couldn't drop without confessing to private matters he'd framed as discipline. Tyrone, what the fuck? Jamal Washington's bark carried betrayal sharp as a blade. 8 years, man. I backed your story. The black kid from the project's making it big. Now this? It's messy, Jamal. Complicated. Complicated? You hit your wife. Ain't nothing complicated about being a straight-up monster. Click. Dead air. By noon, NeuralForge stock plunged 40%. By 2 p.m., big clients yanked contracts like hot potatoes. By 4 p.m., Tyrone Blackwell was jobless for the first time since flipping burgers in high school. But the wrecking ball kept swinging. The package hit at 6 p.m., the courier dipping before he could grill him. Inside, Zara's blood-caked designer dress from that last brutal night, stiff with dried proof of his rage. The note pinned on made his knees buckle. You wanted to own me, now pay for every bruise. Tyrone dropped the fabric like it burned, the thud echoing through his empty pad. Each stain screamed back the violence he'd dished, the justice circling like sharks. His phone buzzed nonstop, news alerts piling on. Tech blogs lit him up. Social media erupted with Tyrone Blackwell beater trending, calls for his head. Someone leaked not just the clips, but ledgers showing he'd funneled company dough to spy on Zara, isolate her from her crew. NeuralForge CEO probed for domestic abuse and fraud, screamed the TechCrunch headline. The guy who'd mastered every variable now starred in someone else's script, and they were miles ahead. As night dropped over the valley, Tyrone hunkered in his darkened mansion, ruins of his life scattered like confetti. Outside, protesters hit his block, chants piercing the bulletproof glass. No more hiding, no more violence. His mirror showed a stranger, eyes sunk, shoulders slumped, scared shitless. He paced the foyer, blood trail from days ago mocking him underfoot. How'd she pull this? Zara, the quiet one he'd pegged as weak? Or was it that cousin Lena, stirring from afar? His community, the black tech circle he'd climbed with, turned fastest. Texts flooded. You made us all look bad, bro. Fake-ass role model. Shame on you for dragging our image through the mud. Tyrone, who'd paraded his from the hood to the boardroom tale on TED stages, now got roasted as the hypocrite who beat down his own. He slammed a fist on the counter, pain shooting up his arm. This wasn't random hacks. This was surgical, hitting where it hurt. Wallet, rep, pride. The videos spread like wildfire on Twitter. TikTok clips remixing his threats with sad beats, comments piling. Black excellence my ass. Lock him up. His stock app refreshed. Another 10% dive, wiping millions. Clients emailed terminations. Can't associate with this toxicity. The board's email chain leaked too. Them scrambling to distance. Blackwell's out, effective immediately. Tyrone poured another bourbon, the burn doing zilch for the ice in his veins. He replayed the footage in his head, not the leaked ones, but memories of Zara's flinches, her fake smiles. Had she been plotting all along? Those quiet nights, her eyes distant. Building a case while he built his empire? The package sat on the floor, dress splayed like a corpse. He nudged it with his foot, note fluttering. Every bruise. His hands shook. How many had he left? Too many to count, each one now a nail in his coffin. The doorbell chimed at midnight. Tyrone froze, heart pounding. Who the hell? He peeked at the security cam. Empty stoop. But the damage was done. Paranoia set in hard. Every shadow looked like Zara's ghost. Every ping a new bomb. He collapsed on the couch, scrolling through hate online, his face everywhere as the villain. For the first time, the king of control felt the throne slip. And whoever pulled the strings wasn't done twisting the knife. She was everywhere and nowhere. In his accounts, his deals, his nightmares, but never where he could grab her. The PI's office reeked of stale coffee and old regrets, folders stacked like headstones for busted lives. Mike Harlan had the grizzled mug of a guy who'd spent 2 decades digging up dirt on cheaters and crooks. But even he shifted uneasily as Tyrone paced the cramped space like a caged lion. She just up and vanished, Tyrone spat for the 4th time. Folks don't pull a Houdini in 2025, not with all the tech out there. Harlan fired up another smoke, ignoring the no-smoking sticker peeling on his wall. Your wife's sharp, Mr. Blackwell. Sharper than you figured. That's bull. Zara couldn't plan a grocery run without my say-so. The PI's chuckle carried zero laughs. That's the line every controlling hubby drops right before his lady cleans him out. He spread pics across his desk like a bad poker hand. Shots of Zara hitting up lawyers, slipping into women's shelters, group meets in Oakland, all while Tyrone thought she was at spin class or the salon. Underground crew, Harlan puffed, smoke twisting his words. Sisters helping sisters bail when the system's asleep at the wheel. Your wife wasn't just in it. She ran point on some ops. Tyrone's world tilted. You're full of it. Bank trails don't lie. Phone pings don't lie. Cams from a dozen spots showing her double timing you while you had her on lockdown. The photos painted a Zara he didn't know. Bold, chatting up other women with survival stories, laughing like she hadn't in years at home. She documented every damn thing. Harlan tapped ash into a mug. Every mark, every yell, every power trip. Built a dossier that'd make a DA cream his pants. If she was geared up, why ghost? Why not just split? Harlan's eyes hardened. So, 'cause dames like yours know dipping is prime time for escalation. That's when guys like you get real creative with the hurt. Tyrone's hunt for her twisted into something obsessive. Nights blurring as he pored over airport cams and parking feeds, chasing ghosts of the woman who'd played him. There's more. Harlan slid one last pic over. Snapped 3 days back in New York. Tyrone's breath hitched. The shot showed Zara, alive, cracking up in a coffee joint, but not solo. Across from her sat a carbon copy. Same face, same curls, same grin he'd spent 8 years grinding down. Twin sister, Harlan dropped unnecessarily. Lena Morrison, hotshot lawyer out of NYC, specializes in DV cases. Kept her maiden name post-marriage. Wait, nah, she's single. Been tight with your wife for years, per records. The photo quivered in Tyrone's grip. 2 women sharing DNA and, from the looks, a blueprint to bury him. Which one's which? He whispered. Bingo. That's the jackpot question. Could be either, could be both. Swapping shifts. Hell, maybe the one you wed was Lena from Jump. Tyrone eyed the identical smiles, cracking wise at some inside joke, and it slammed home. He'd never truly known his wife. Every chat, every bed session, every time she'd folded under his thumb, it had been a long con by a queen always plotting his checkmate. I need an address, Tyrone's voice hollowed out. Harlan stubbed his cig and leaned back. I already fed you too much. My 2 cents? Lawyer up and practice saying sorry, 'cause whoever's yanking your chain ain't done. As Tyrone bounced from the office, his phone buzzed with another ghost text. Liking the view? Act 2 drops tomorrow. The street felt loaded, every alley hiding the woman, or women, who'd faked love while sharpening knives. He'd figured he was chasing one scared housewife. Wrong. He'd crashed a web spun by twins who got the game better than him. Patience over power. But the real gut punch hit mid-flight to NYC. His phone rang, NYPD badge on the caller ID. Mr. Blackwell? Detective Ramirez. We need you at the morgue. Got a body matching your wife's description. Tyrone's world screeched. What? No way. That's impossible. Overdose in a hotel. Housekeeping found her. Prince and Dental say it's Zara Blackwell. You flying in? The plane ride blurred in nausea, his mind replaying the blood trail, the smashed phone. Suicide? Or setup? The morgue's fluorescence buzzed like angry bees, turning everything corpse pale. The attendant yanked back the sheet with bored routine, but Tyrone's knees buckled. It was Zara's face, dark skin, full lips, that tiny scar over her brow from some kid mishap, but off somehow, like a deep fake glitch. Found in a midtown flop 3 days ago, Ramirez said, voice heavy with too many bad news deliveries. Pills and booze cocktail. Me says dead hours before discovery. Tyrone couldn't spit words. His wife, his actual ring-on-it wife, lay iced while some look-alike torched his life from afar. The lights bleached her hands, folded neatly, no band. Even dead, flipping him off. Mr. Blackwell, Ramirez's tone softened to hair. Need a sec? How'd you ID her so quick? Tried reaching you for 2 days. Your assistant said you were ghosting calls. 2 days. While he'd chased shadows and hired PIs, Zara chilled in this freezer, her revenge heating up. The room she checked into? Under Lena Morrison, but biometrics screamed Zara. The perfect switcheroo. Tyrone forced one last look, peaceful in death, free from the flinch he'd etched in her. Cause? He croaked, dreading it. Overdose, accidental or intentional. Tough call. Ramirez paused. But given your marriage dirt we're hearing, leaning towards suicide. The words hammered him. She'd picked death over his cage. And that twin, turning grief into guerrilla war. Mr. Blackwell, heads up. You're a person of interest in her death. Timeline matches some ugly allegations. Tyrone tuned out, brain rewinding 8 years for missed flags. Zara's eyes that last night, not scared, but almost smug. Her whisper into that hidden recorder, not begging, greenlighting the endgame. As he staggered out, his phone pinged from Zara's number. Now you know what powerless feels like? Not a haunt. A taunt from the sister with nothing to lose, and law smarts to crush him. The truth exploded like a grenade in his gut, shrapnel ripping through 8 years of lies. Tyrone slumped in his NYC hotel room, the photo from Harlan trembling in his fist. Zara and Lena, mirror images laughing over coffee, plotting his downfall. He'd flown east right after the morgue, brain on fire, piecing it together midair. Zara is dead, but her ghost is wrecking him? Nah, that was Lena, the twin he'd dismissed as some distant cousin. She'd used the identical face to lay fake trails, checking into that hotel under her name, but leaving Zara's body, pulling cash from his accounts with forged IDs that screamed Zara, leaking those videos like slow poison, turning his empire to ash. He paced the suite, walls closing in like a trap. How long had this con run? Zara slipping evidence to Lena via that underground network, flash drives in the mail, encrypted drops. And the AI? His own NeuralForge tech, rigged to track Zara's every move, now flipped as proof in Lena's arsenal. Company logs showing he'd used surveillance algos to monitor her calls, block her from family, even geo-fence the mansion so she'd ping if she stepped out. 8 years of love exposed as a digital cage. His phone buzzed, Zara's number again. He snatched it, heart slamming. Hello? Silence, then a voice like Zara's but sharper, laced with steel. Tyrone, it's Lena. His knees hit the carpet. You're behind this? Behind? Honey, I'm the architect. Zara built the foundation. Every bruise you left, she documented. I just added the explosives. Her laugh cut like glass. You thought you owned her, but she owned you from day one. Tyrone's mind reeled, flashing back to Zara in the kitchen, eyes distant while serving coffee. Had Lena subbed in sometimes? Those weekends he traveled? Had the twins swapped? Why? She was my wife. Your prisoner. 8 years of hell, Tyrone. You beat her down, controlled her cash, her friends, her damn thoughts, used your fancy AI to stalk her like prey. She died to escape you. Pills and booze in that room, her final out. But before that, she handed me the keys. Videos, audio, financials proving you siphoned company funds for your little spy games. He gripped the phone, knuckles white. This is extortion. I'll sue your ass. Sue? Baby, this is payback. I didn't break laws. I exposed yours. Posed as Zara in those shelter meets, gathered allies, even charmed your board buddies over drinks. Men like you can't resist a pretty face, stroking their ego. They spilled dirt on your shady deals without knowing I was your sister-in-law. Tyrone's stomach dropped. Those networking happy hours Lena mentioned. Her reeling in confessions about his off-books ops, his threats to rivals. All ammo now. You faked it all. The withdrawals, the leaks. Smart boy. Used our twin thing to create alibis. Withdrew your millions through shells. Made it look like Zara from the grave. Sent those taunts from her number to drive you nuts. You chased a ghost while I dismantled your life. Her voice dropped low, intimate like a lover's whisper. Every intimate moment, a performance. Zara endured you, logging every violation, waiting for the flip. Tyrone's breath came ragged, room spinning. Please, Lena, we can deal. Money, whatever. Did Zara's please stop you? When you cracked her ribs? Forced yourself on her? Nah, you get to feel it now. Powerless, watched, broken. He heard the click of her keyboard like nails on his coffin. I've got the full package ready for the feds. Conspiracy, fraud, stalking, your AI logs, gold for federal charges, domestic terrorism wrapped in tech. Sweat soaked his shirt, visions of orange jumpsuits flashing. You're destroying me for what? She's gone. For her. Zara died thinking she was nothing. I need the world to see she was everything. A fighter who outsmarted her monster. Lena's tone hardened with fury she'd bottled for years. And for every woman like her, you'll rot knowing two sisters beat you at your game. The line went dead, leaving Tyrone curled on the floor, sobs ripping out. The photo mocked him from the carpet. Two faces, one vendetta. Every I love you from Zara, a script, every submission, fuel for this reckoning. He'd built an empire on control, but these twins turned it to rubble. As sirens wailed outside, he clutched his chest, the weight crushing. The game was up. Lena held all the cards, and his next move? Facing the mirror, seeing the villain stare back. The FBI raid flipped Tyrone's spotless mansion into a crime scene circus, agents stomping mud across marble that once screamed success. 30 badges swarmed at dawn, boots thumping like war drums, turning his glass palace into Exhibit A for his sins. Tyrone Blackwell, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud, domestic terrorism, and federal stalking violations. Agent Lisa Torres's voice sliced through the chaos, dripping satisfaction from months of building this takedown. You have the right to remain silent. Tyrone barely clocked the Miranda spiel over the roar in his ears, his empire crashing for real. Cuffs snapped on wrists that once sealed billion-dollar deals, now shaking like a leaf. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, news vans clogged his driveway like vultures at a kill, cams rolling his walk of shame. Evidence boxes piled up, telling his downfall in paper trails. 8 years of tapped calls, mansion cams from every angle, bank statements nailing corporate cash funneled to spy on Zara. This is bullshit, he snarled as agents snapped pics of faded blood on the bedroom rug. My wife's dead. This is all smoke. Your wife's twin dropped an airtight case, Torres fired back, not glancing up from her clipboard. Crazy how abuse stacks up when someone's logging it all. In the office, they boxed his rigs, laptops, phones, servers humming with searches like how to track spouse legally and control wife's finances. Digital footprints of a man who'd twisted marriage into ownership, love into lockdown. The wall's photos mocked him now, him and Zara at galas, her smile tight as a noose while his grip dug into her hip. Snaps that screamed power couple but hid the bruises underneath. Boss, we hit pay dirt in the safe. A rookie agent waved a fat envelope Tyrone wished he'd torched. Inside, Zara's bruised Polaroids, time-stamped like a horror timeline, ER reports spun as falls, and his own notes on discipline protocols like some twisted HR manual. His face drained white, recalling jotting that crap like business plans, framing his hits as corrections. Now in Fed hands, it screamed psychopath. Jesus, Blackwell, Torres muttered, flipping the pics. You kept souvenirs? The word gutted him. He'd sold himself the lie. It was for protection, measured tough love. Bullshit. It was trophies, proof of his reign. Agents hauled servers loaded with NeuralForge AI logs, algos he'd repurposed to ping Zara's phone, block her emails, even alert if she hit a coffee shop without clearance. Every variable controlled, now flipping the script on him. Torres rattled off charges. Fraud for dipping company funds into personal surveillance. Stalking across state lines. Conspiracy with that domestic twist. Using tech to terrorize his own home. Tyrone's knees buckled as they dragged him out, cuffs biting. Flashbulbs popped like gunfire. Reporters yelling, Blackwell, any comment on the abuse tapes? How's it feel losing it all? He spotted protesters beyond the tape, signs waving justice for Zara. Tech bros ain't above the law. His black tech circle? Silent or worse, tweeting condemnations. The hood hero turned villain, dragging the image down. In the squad car, reality crashed harder than any boardroom flop. No bail for this. Feds played hardball on DV with fraud chasers. His lawyer's voicemail looped in his head. We're screwed, man. Evidence is ironclad. As tires squealed away, the mansion shrinking in the rear view, Tyrone's mind raced. Lena's fingerprints everywhere. Her charm offensive on his partners, milking secrets over martinis. Her encrypted handoffs from Zara, building this bomb. Weeks blurred in lockup. Orange jumpsuit chafing, cellmates side-eyeing the wife-beater mogul. Headlines scream daily, Blackwell's fall from Forbes to felon. Stock tanked to pennies, NeuralForge sold off in scraps. Assets frozen, mansion seized as crime proceeds. Friends? Ghosted. Family? His mom called once, voice cracking. You shamed us all, son. The community that lifted him now dropped him like hot trash. Then the letter hit, slipped under his cell door like a shank. No stamp, just from Lena. Tyrone's hands shook, ripping it open. Zara died because of you, slowly, over 8 years, then all at once in that hotel. But justice? It lives on, making you pay every helpless second. Feel it yet? The cage you built for him is now yours. No empire, no control, just regrets. He crumpled it, sobs choking out. The words burned, every bruise, every threat flipped back on him. In court, the evidence parade gutted him. Videos playing silently in the gallery. Zara's flinches like punches to his chest. Witnesses, ex-board members spilling their rage. Shelter women testifying to their secret cries for help. Lena on the stand, face like Zara's but eyes blazing with fury. She detailed the network, the handoffs, the plan born from sisterly love and rage. Jury didn't blink. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing hammered the nail. 20 years. No parole shot. Tyrone shuffled out in chains, flashbulbs popping again. The mogul reduced to an inmate number, legacy torched. In his cell, staring at concrete, he replayed it all. The slaps, the controls, the ego that blinded him. Zara's peace in death, her ultimate win. Lena's revenge, textbook. He became the cautionary tale. Tech kings hiding monsters behind suits, power no shield from payback. Black excellence tainted, but the lesson stuck. Abuse catches up no matter the billions. In the end, this story reminds us that power and wealth can't hide the truth forever. Abuse leaves scars that demand justice, and those we've underestimated often hold the strength to bring it crashing down. It's a powerful lesson that true accountability comes not from the top, but from the resilience of the overlooked and the bonds that endure even in the darkest times. Have you ever faced a moment where standing up for yourself or someone you love meant risking everything? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you've navigated those tough choices and what they've taught you. Stick around for our next video, where we'll dive into another gripping tale of hidden truths and unbreakable family ties that turn the tables on a seemingly untouchable empire. You won't want to miss it. Thank you so much for watching and being part of this journey with me. Your support means the world. See you in the next one. Take care.